Greetings, Bat Family, and welcome back to Holy BatCast, brought to you by Real Fans for Real Movies. You can visit our website, holybatcast.com, or find us all over social media on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or YouTube. Just search for Holy BatCast, you will find us. If you love the show, you want to help support the show, you can do that on Patreon. You can go to patreon.com/holybatcast. And as always, a big old thank you to our patrons. You guys are amazing. I'm going to give a special shout out to one of our patrons, our friend Jim Scroggs. Jim's been a friend of the show for a long time. He was already a patron. He did a guest spot on the show. He upped his pledge just because he is a sweetheart of a human being. So big ol' thank you to Jim. And we've been meaning to get him back on the show anyway. So Jim, we'll talk to you soon, but thank you. You didn't have to do that, but it is certainly appreciated. So big thank you to Jim and all our patrons. You guys are amazing. We are part of the Real Fans Podcast Network. You can check out all of those shows at rf4rm.com. And as always, I'm Andy DiGenova. Y'all know that probably by now. You can find me on Twitter or on Instagram. It's just my name, Andy DiGenova. This episode's going to be a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but those are some of my favorite episodes because then there's something for everybody. We're going to talk a little bit of news at the beginning, and then the bulk of our conversation is from one of our listeners, actually. He wrote us an email, and I was like, this is too big of a question to just do in the Wayne Manor mailbox. Let's just make it the episode, and that is our favorite things, our favorite Batman things. So I feel like I should start singing a little Julie Andrews. You know, whiskers on kittens and you know, paper packages tied up with string, Batman on the Batmobile, surfing from the sky, chasing after Mr. Freeze. These are a few of our favorite Batman things. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about another Batman Beyond, and then we're going to finally answer your questions in the Wayne Manor mailbox. For all that fun, I have both of my Bat buddies with me. So first of all, after taking last week off, it's Jamie Drewley. Hey, Jamie.
What's going on, everybody?
Not much. Welcome back.
Yeah, it's good to be back. You guys scheduled an episode smack dab in the middle of the NFL Conference Championship games, which went exceedingly well for me, by the way. And sorry I missed out, but, priorities and all that.
Yeah, I know.
More important than the two of you.
I mean,
we were concerned about how it went for you.
The Chiefs are gone, the Buccaneers are gone, and the Patriots are gone, so I can watch the Super Bowl this year.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And full disclosure, you told us to go ahead. You said, you guys do this one.
I did.
Because I'm sitting it out.
Because I assume people want to hear him talk once in a while. I don't know.
Very few. He
doesn't want to get up at 4:00 in the morning to do a podcast because he does. Priorities. So.
Well, priorities. If he's got to get up for a midnight feeding.
2:30 a.m. to watch the bloody Olympics.
Exactly.
But as far as podcasting, he ain't happy.
I used to, not so much anymore.
So anyway, you also heard him. We got Brendan. We got all three of us. The Holy BatCast Trinity. So Brendan. Yeah, you were definitely Wonder Woman. I'm Superman. Okay, cool. Jamie's Batman. You're Wonder Woman.
Wait, I get to be Batman this time?
Just throwing you a bat bone.
Appreciate you.
But Brendan's definitely Wonder Woman.
Works for me.
Yeah.
Does that mean I have to talk like this for the whole episode?
I might have to shave my legs, but I've got the legs for it.
I know. Work it, girl.
I know a company that can help with that.
I was just about to say I've accidentally set up a really good segue there.
I know. It is good, but we were going to talk about it yet. But yeah, I mean, this episode is also brought to you by Manscaped.com. So if you need to trim up those legs for crime fighting and things like that, we are still being sponsored by Manscaped. A big ol' thank you to Manscaped, because enough of you nice folks out there went to Manscaped.com and used our promo code BATSCAPED. So thank you guys, everybody who did that, and I hope you guys are loving your products. I know I love mine. I literally use them daily. I'm not saying that just because they're paying me to say it. I'm saying it because it's true, and if they want to pay me, I'll let them. But I swear to God, I use this stuff every day. So manscaped.com, appreciate it. Appreciate everybody who took advantage of that offer. And if you haven't yet, do it now. You get 20% off. You get free shipping. You use Batscaped. And it's terrific. I will say, since we're doing it, I'll just do it now. It's fine. Valentine's Day is coming, guys. You know what that means. Now is the time to take care of everything going on downstairs. This is the time for your loved one, your wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, girlfriend and boyfriend, polyamorous. I'm down with that. I support you no matter who you're with and how you're going to celebrate Valentine's Day. But you want to be respectful to whoever you're spending that evening with. So get you some Manscaped. Or maybe you don't need it for you, but you think maybe your partner could use it. Buy it for them for Valentine's Day. It's a great gift.
And get back to us.
Yeah, do that. Buy it, and I swear they'll thank you for it. Batscaped, 20% off, free shipping. They even sent me a Valentine's Day poem. You want to hear it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they sent me a whole thing, but I'm like, you know what? I can just talk. You don't need to write for me. I'm fine. But this is good, so I gotta say this. Roses are red, violets are blue. Don't let a wild pube wreck you.
That boy's better than Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Like it needed another syllable in there somewhere, it seems.
Yeah. Well,
I get the point.
You get the point. But yeah, right now they have it's like kind of the little bit of everything gift boxes, which is what they sent to us, the three of us. And you get your trimmer in there, you get your nose trimmer, which I'm over 40 and I hate that I have to use it, but I have to use it. Oh,
dude, I'm not even 40 yet and I have to use it.
I'm so mad, but it happens to the best of us. But anyway, the trimmer, the nose trimmer, the deodorant, the toner, a pair of boxers, and they're even adding some cologne to this. What did they call it? This is the Performance Package 4.0. And so, yeah, if you want a little bit of everything to really jump into that Manscaped, you can go to manscaped.com and get the Performance Package 4.0. Can't go wrong.
For those of you out there who don't happen to live in tropical climates like the fool in Orlando or the fool in Australia, I will just throw this out there. I don't even know if this was the design, but today, as we were discussing before recording, it was frozen but cold here in Northeast Indiana. It was 8 degrees. It just so happens I was wearing my Manscaped boxer briefs, and my package was delightfully warm during all of that. I'm just saying.
I'm telling you.
If you're in the cold climate like me, that it was very, very appreciated.
If it gets a little too warm, you can always pop some of that deodorant on there.
Yep. I swear, do you know?
I ordered some more.
It's good. Here's the thing.
And you know what?
What?
I still haven't had to charge my trimmer. It's been 3 months and I still haven't had to charge it.
Yeah, the battery's kind of.
I'm pretty sure those things run forever. I'm just saying.
I told you it worked for 6 months without me having to charge it. I can't promise that that's the way it works for everybody, but it's certainly the way it worked for me.
All this, and we're saving the environment too by not using up unnecessary electricity.
There you have it. They wrote a couple other things that I just wanted to share real fast because it's fun. It says here, Manscaped created their products for a night just like this, and it will make your V-Day date say, "Wow, great set of balls you have there." For real.
I mean, if you'll pardon the Tim Rooney-like pun, these people don't beat around the bush when it comes to selling their products. They just tell it to
I see what you did there. And honestly, they're out there out front, and I appreciate that. And then it says, "Your balls and lady will thank you." And that's why I have to be a little more inclusive. Not everybody is going out with a lady for V-Day. So everybody, no matter who you're sleeping with, whoever's going to be exploring down there, take care of business for them. It's a V-Day gift for them.
And once more, I remind you that the newspaper that they send out with the package that you order, the box set, if you will, my wife and I got a laugh out of that for like 2 days because there's so much good stuff in there.
Yeah. So they have fun with it. Anyway, thank you guys. Again, thank you to Manscaped for the cool products, and thank you for sponsoring us. If you guys are out there listening and you haven't done it yet, again, the products are really excellent. I think you'll love them. And if you use Batscaped, you're not only getting 20% off and free shipping, you are supporting the show. So if you can't be a patron or whatever, but you're going to buy these, use Batscaped because it helps. It helps them know that their sponsorship is not without its rewards. So please and thank you for doing that. We're going to talk about other stuff. We actually want to talk about DC stuff. We're going to talk about Peacemaker's balls. We're going to talk about the Riddler's balls. No, not really. So first thing, last time we talked about the Batman theme from Michael Giacchino, which I loved. and we talked about that. But then we got an extra little bonus. This week we got the Riddler's theme, also for Michael Giacchino. So I feel like I'm building the score one track at a time, but I'm down for it. I think that's great. It's just enough that it doesn't feel spoilery or anything, but it's enough to get me hyped, and it's something to look forward to as we get closer and closer to the film, because we are now less than a month away from the Batman, which is crazy. So
Did everybody order your Little Caesars yet? Or?
I have not. I need to do that. Here's the problem: is the Little Caesars near me are not that near me. I would have to drive for half an hour to get it, and that's kind of a pain in the ass. So maybe I will this week, but I have not yet.
All right then.
We don't even have it here in Australia, so
Yeah.
I did get some Oreos though.
Okay. I don't know.
The Batman Oreos.
Oh, the Oreos. I thought you said Mario's. I was like, oh, is that a pizza place?
No, we've got the Oreo. I got some
Oreos. Okay, did they taste like Vengeance?
I won't say what I said in our group chat because I'll probably get nasty tweets.
Okay.
Oh, F it, I don't care. I said that tastes like shitty costume designs.
Oh, yep. Now you're just riling people up.
I'm kidding.
I mean, you
not really. You're not really kidding.
You just said what I was thinking.
I say these things in jest. I'm not trying to stir anyone up. It's just I'm at the point where I just joke about it now. I'm looking forward to the movie, and everyone knows I'm not keen on the aesthetic. So if you see me make any tweets or whatever about it, just know that it is very tongue in cheek.
Yeah, there you go. Please.
He's really abrasive about everything. I mean, you should hear the way he talks to us, and we're friends.
Yeah, it's true. Anyway, sorry. The Riddler track. Did you guys listen?
I did.
Nah, because nobody told me I had to, because I didn't know it was out.
Well, James, I guess that is the downside of being off the social medias. You don't see when stuff like this drops.
To be fair, I really only saw it on Twitter, which Jamie's not on. So.
Yeah, well, I swear Anthony Caruso, who is another friend of the show, super nice guy, he posted it in the Real Fans group.
I must have missed that completely.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did.
I haven't been on there in a few days. I'll tell you what, you guys go ahead and discuss what you think about it. I'm going to drink my beverage and touch my lavish underwear here.
Okay, great. Brendan, what'd you think? For real.
I know I said I'm looking forward to the movie, so just give me a second, but I didn't like it as much as the one we got last week. I liked the middle part where it kind of got a bit, what's the word, bigger and bolder.
Yeah, where it pumps up.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If we're going to talk about this score track for track, the way they're releasing it, that's what that'll be the running theme for me. I like a big bold score, like a big pump up track.
Yeah.
I mean, I know there's obviously not every song can be like that, but that's just my preference. So the music that bookends that part of the song, I was kind of like, okay, and sort of like the Batman track, it was quite repetitive. And then, it sort of does that big change into the bold, big moment, which I liked. And then it sort of just goes back into the subtle.
Yeah.
And that part again was a bit repetitive, but I mean, I need to see that in context of the film. That's so, listening to these songs at the moment, for me, you're already sort of fighting with one hand tied behind your back, in trying to win me over. And I mean, I was like that with the Dark Knight score, with the BVS score. I didn't dislike listening to them before I saw the movie, but once I saw the movie, it elevated all of it. And I'm expecting that to be the same in this case. So,
okay. Yeah, I mean, it definitely starts very quiet, very sinister. It's very moody. It's very spooky, but it is very understated spooky. And then halfway through, it gets cranked to 11, and it's that same theme, but just all in. And I really like it, just like I really liked the first track. I really like this track because it is so spooky. If you had played this for me and you told me, oh, this is from a new Dracula film, I would believe you, because that's what it sounds like. It has this very gothic horror sensibility that I love. And I think that's really cool. So I really liked it. And it also, much like the Batman theme, this one has a very recognizable theme that you can, and I know why you're saying it's repetitive. You do hear it a lot in this track, but you go, oh, got it. That's the sound of this Riddler. And I like that it is a recognizable theme from the beginning, both a soft version and a pumped up version. So yeah, just like the last track, I was really happy with this one. I thought it was badass. Very spooky, very creepy. So I am into it. And yeah, we'll see if they keep dropping tracks or if it was just these two. I'm looking forward to Catwoman's theme.
Mentioned about the movie in a while. It was mentioned before that there was like some Halloween theme spotted in some of the set photos.
Yeah.
Did we ever get any kind of confirmation about that being the time frame it takes place? Because I don't really recall seeing much of that, if any, in the trailer.
You're right. We saw it from very early set photos, but yeah, nothing in the trailer or the marketing, anything like that. So maybe it's just like a couple scenes, maybe this movie takes place over the course of a year and it's just they check in October and that's what it's from, or maybe the whole thing is set during that time. No idea.
All right then.
But so far so good as far as I'm concerned for Michael Giacchino and his work on the score. Really excited about it. Excited to add another awesome Batman score to the collection. And I like these little advanced gifts that they're giving us. It's cool. We also talked last week about Peacemaker, so Brendan and I shared our thoughts, but at his request, Jamie also wanted to share some thoughts on the Peacemaker. So you have the floor, my friend.
So everybody listens to the show. You guys know that the Suicide Squad just wasn't for me, to put it as politely as I can. So this show didn't hold a lot of appeal to me. I figured I'd give it a chance when I was bored, and Cena kind of concerned me whether or not he was a strong enough actor to be able to carry as a lead in the show and whatnot. And just to cut right to it, guys, I've really been pretty impressed with this show. It hasn't been perfect. I really didn't care for the second episode at all, but I really think they've got themselves a winner here. I mean, obviously the ratings have been pulling in well, and the conversation around it's been solid, but I'm very pleased to say that Cena is actually quite great in the part and being the lead and being able to carry the show, and I'm enjoying it. I really am. I figured watching from the trailer and everything, I thought maybe I'll enjoy the Eagly thing because that was mildly humorous to me, and I have enjoyed Eagly, but I'll
tell you I loved Eagly this week. Eagly was awesome this week.
He was on point this week. But no, I'm getting a kick out of it. I mean, it's not the greatest thing I've ever seen. It's not the most hilarious thing I've ever seen. It's not the best written or anything like that, but it's a really good time. And I'm just really pleased as punch that I can say that about this show, because honestly, I really didn't expect that.
Mm-hmm. No, I didn't expect that from you either, based on it.
Who did?
I'm amazed you watched it, to tell you the truth.
I got up really early one morning because, puppies, they have that tendency to get you up at 5 a.m., which is delightful. When they get up, you get up. That's just how it works.
Oh, that's why I'm getting a baby, because then they don't do that.
Yeah, Andy doesn't want to fool with any puppies. He's just going to get a baby.
Yeah, because babies do as they're told. So I'll be like, honey, we don't wake up in this house until 8. So just know that.
I podcasted with you at 9. Good luck getting him up at 8. Yeah,
that's the plan.
The most of the side characters, not all, but most I find pretty enjoyable. Vigilante surprised me that I'm liking him as much as I did. For those watching the show, I especially liked it when he went in to visit Peacemaker's dad in the jail.
Oh, dude, that was amazing. That was so good.
Him bitching about the toe. I mean, the whole thing, the major overarching plot of the season, which I won't give away for anybody not watching the show, I find intriguing, and I'm really curious to see where they're going to go from here. But yeah, I'm having a really good time, and honestly, I think I'm going to be a little sad when what is it, 8 episodes?
Yeah, we only have 2 more.
I think I'm going to be a little sad when it's done.
Yep. No, I'm glad to hear that. And honestly, I think we're all kind of shocked based on how much you loved the Suicide Squad.
Right, exactly.
But I'm glad to hear it's working for you. I'm with you. I'm loving it. I think it's awesome. And it's one of those, like I said last week, I get excited every time there's a new episode. But what I didn't mention last week, and I'm glad you brought it up, is just how much I love Vigilante. To me, he's stealing it. I agree with you that John Cena is awesome as well. He's really, I think, he's even better in the show as he's grown into it than he was in the film. Of course, he was still good in the film, but I think that he's even better now. But yeah, Vigilante for me is a scene stealer, and the scene in the jail with the father. Oh my God, I was like, okay, forget it. He's my favorite. I love him. Now, I don't know a lot about Vigilante from the comics. My guess is this is not really who he is in the comics, but he certainly looks like this. But it's Vigilante. You want to change a character? Sure, do it with Vigilante. I don't think anyone's going to really care.
Yeah, I don't think it's breaking too many hearts out there with that.
Yeah, I mean, Vigilante is pretty damn obscure. Like he's like D-list in DC. So,
I only know Cowboy Vigilante from Justice League Unlimited.
Exactly.
That's my only.
Yeah. So I love him. I love Freddie Stroma, who's the actor. He is killing it. I think he's so much fun. And yeah, he and Cena play off each other so well. I love the show.
And Robert Patrick, I mean, the guy's never been my favorite actor. Of course, we all know him from Terminator 2 and a number of other things that he's done since then. But, Terminator 2, I mean, let's face it, that's really, him in a nutshell. It's like him with T2 is almost like William Shatner with Star Trek. It's like he's done plenty of other stuff, but everybody just knows him from that. And even though his character is an absolute utter bastard, he's fantastic in the part.
Yeah. Agreed. Cool.
And Judo Master, I thought, was one of the most fun characters that's been on the show so far.
Yeah. Speaking of digging up the most random old character.
Everything you're saying is just shocking the hell out of me.
Nobody's more surprised about it than me, my friend. I keep thinking maybe I should go back and rewatch the Suicide Squad, and then I remember watching it, and then I'm like, no, I'm good. But this, it works. I don't ask me to explain why, it just does. And again, I've said it before, and I can't say it enough. I was really concerned that Cena was going to be able to carry that part, and he is so damn good.
Mm-hmm. I have to be honest. I've never been a wrestling fan ever, and no offense to people who are, but it's just not for me. I think it's BS. But in saying that, like when The Rock started acting, or performing in movies, I should say, because wrestling is acting, I had no interest. It took me years to watch a movie that had Dwayne Johnson in it. And I love him. He's fantastic. Mm-hmm. And Cena, I can remember seeing like him sort of when I was working in music and movies and stuff. Like you'd see a DVD drop that had him in it, but it was a WWE Films Presents type thing. Like it was a straight to DVD release, and like, oh, whatever. And I think I can't remember the first thing I saw him in, but I can't remember the name of it, but it had Tina Fey and Amy Poehler in it. He had no lines really, but he was really funny. And then I saw him in Blockers, and I was just like, this guy's actually not too bad. And then the Suicide Squad in he's completely won me over. I'm like, he's charming as hell. Like I really like this guy in movies. He's really good.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. And he's only gotten better.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, exactly.
And he's kind of following the career path that Dwayne Johnson did, in that when he started off, he wasn't really a particularly good actor. He did what he knew and did fun parts. I think what was The Rundown or something like that was his first big movie, I guess. And that was a good time.
I love The Rundown. I think that's a great movie.
It's a good time, but I mean, it was what it was, and he is what he is in that movie. But he's progressively gotten better over the years, where I still don't think he's great, but I legitimately think he's a good actor, and he carries charisma for days.
I mean, he can carry a movie.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. And Cena, I really think, has followed in that general path, and that his first movie, he was like an ex-Marine. I can't remember the name of it, but it was like 11 bullets, or I can't even remember. It's something or other. And it's a garbage movie. It's mindless fun action film. And I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. Another pro wrestler's trying to do this. And he's just gotten better. And in his case, his comedic chops and timing are really impressive.
Yeah.
I mentioned before that they have the new series of Wipeout that dropped on HBO Max from TBS or whatever network it aired on it, and he co-hosts that with a young lady on there, and he's hilarious as the host of that show. the commentaries that he gives, and I'm sure some of it's ad-libbed and maybe some of it's written ahead of time or whatever, but he's a blast in that too. So good on him. I'm glad to see him getting this done.
Well, and also, much like The Rock, by all accounts, he is just an awesome person. So I love that too. Like it just seems like he's a great guy, super positive, super generous, super sweet, very grateful for the career he has. And like, I always love to hear that. And it makes me like him that much more.
And he never takes himself too seriously. Like he's like super mega self-deprecating on that Wipeout show, but he's in the best possible way.
Yeah.
I mean, he really has a good time with it, and it stands out. And you can see him taking the piss out of himself in Peacemaker also. So I mean, it's good. I like that that's working out, and I like that I was dead ass wrong about him being the right guy for a show.
Yep, agreed. All right, let's move forward, guys. So
and just to give it the,
or let's
the
not. Never mind. I'll just shut the fuck up.
No.
You can just keep soliloquying about Peacemaker for another 20 minutes. We won't even get to the thing.
Good. We're gonna do it. I got all night. To give you an idea of how much I like this show, Thursday morning when a new episode drops, I get up and that's like the first thing I do is watch the new episode, and I'm like 2 episodes behind on Book of Boba Fett. What's that tell you?
Yeah.
Not that Book of Boba Fett hasn't been great. It has, but still. Point taken. Anyway.
Shows where your priorities are.
It also shows which show I watch with my kids and which one I don't.
You watch Peacemaker with your kids?
No.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait, what? Sorry, my bad. All right, let's move forward. Glad you're digging it, though. I think everybody's shocked to hear it, but I'm sure people will be happy to hear it. We have this email from listener Imad Alagoose, who writes us pretty often. And when I read it, I was like, oh, this is just going to take the whole time for us to answer this. So I was like, well, what the hell? Let's make it the episode. So here's what Imad says. He says, hello. This would be my longest email ever, so I'll try to make it as short as I can. I'd like to know what is your favorite Batman thing in the following categories. And then he added his own. So things like live action movie, animated show, comic run, bat suits, live action comics, bat family member, etc., etc., etc. He did 15 of them. And I was like, okay, let's just discuss this. It's always fun to talk about just Batman in general. That's not just specific news or specific story or specific movie or whatever. It's nice to just speak about it in general. He says, that's enough. I hope this makes it to the show and that the Holy Trinity is there to answer it. So that means Andy, Jamie, and my favorite Aussie. Cheers, Imad. So thanks, Imad. So and lovely. Not only did it make the show, we all got together to do it, and it's going to take up a big chunk of the show. So without further ado, it is time for our favorite Batman things.
Whiskers on kittens, bright copper kettles and warm woolen mittens, brown paper packages tied up with strings. These are a few of my favorite things.
You just put Julie Andrews in, didn't you?
I mean, probably.
Yeah.
Most likely. But I'd also like to say that my favorite things is not a fucking Christmas song, and I will not accept it as such.
How did that even get started?
I don't know. I don't know who decided in the past 20 years it was going to be one, but it ain't one. No, ma'am.
I agree. I did like the, we talked about it on the Christmas special a couple of years ago, the Lay's chips.
Yeah. Anna Kendrick.
Like, that was cool, but it's not a Christmas song.
No.
Kelly Clarkson.
Quite a few. A lot of people have done it, and no. Nice
Really?
try, but no. It's
See,
not just Kelly
Christmas
Clarkson.
And you said Kelly Clarkson. Now, guess where my head went? Thanks a lot, Brendan.
Under the
What?
Tree.
Oh,
God,
yeah,
that
it's a
song's
great song.
All right. So the first question's an easy one. Favorite Batman live action movie?
I will say just quickly before we really dive into it, clearly
We're never getting through this episode now.
Clearly
No,
Imad
I'm never going to get my burger. There's a burger waiting for me at the end of this episode, and I'm never going to eat it. I'm going to starve to death, and it's on the both of you.
Clearly he didn't take part in the Batman ISO challenge we did 2 years ago.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, a lot of these the answers aren't going to surprise anybody, but what the hell? Still fun to talk about anyway.
Oh, hell yeah, I'm in. I love it.
But yes, it reminds me of the Batman ISO challenge that we did in quarantine 2 years ago.
when we thought all this would be over in a couple of months.
You know, because for the 2-week shutdown of COVID.
Yeah, that's the one.
And here we are. Anyway, so, all right, number 1, favorite live-action movie. Imad says BVS for him. Brendan, what about you?
Batman Begins.
All right.
It's still no one's taken that crown yet. It's still, in terms of a Batman live action movie, like The Dark Knight is fantastic, and you know what Snyder did is great as well, and everyone knows obviously my affection for Batman Forever, but Batman Begins I think is still the best Batman movie. It's so damn good.
Yeah. Jamie?
I mean, if you're going to say something is like the best Batman movie, it's hard to fight against Batman Begins or even BVS because of the way that Affleck and Zach and Richard brought that character to life on the screen, and the movement and just the look, everything about it was fantastic. But I mean, guys, I have to. This answer is going to surprise absolutely no one because it's not only my favorite Batman movie, but it's my favorite movie of all time, and it's The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Can't argue.
No, I get it. And again, he asked for favorite, not best. And I've always said, and I've said it probably 15 times on this show over the years, favorite, Batman 89. It's the movie that made me fall in love with Batman. It's the movie that changed my life. Best, I think, is still Batman Begins. But favorite, it's Batman 89. Can't get enough of it. I love it. It was just hit me at the right time and changed everything. There would be no Holy BatCast if not for Batman 89.
We wouldn't be friends.
I got into the Wayback Machine with Peabody and Mr. Sherman the other day. You know how if you're scanning through Amazon Prime, if you stay on something long enough, it brings up like the little clip or the trailer?
Oh, yeah.
And I just happened to land on Batman 89 because it was under recommended, and I like picked up my phone or something and left it on there, and it played that first trailer that had like no music or anything.
Oh,
it was just
yeah.
like clips from the movie, and I was like, oh my God, that took me back because I haven't seen that in God, probably close to 30 years. I don't think I've seen it much since the movie came out.
Yeah.
So that was a really good blast
trailer.
It's
really
it's so crazy how it is awkward with no music and how it's cut together, but man, it made an impact and now it's historic. All right, favorite animated movie, Brendan. Oh, Imad's favorite animated movie is The Dark Knight Returns.
Look, I think for me it's still Batman Under the Red Hood. Again, like there's so many good ones. Like I know Mask of the Phantasm's usually everyone's answer. And it probably is the best, but again, you know, best compared to favorite, and I struggle to think of anything else other than Batman Under the Red Hood. Like I love The Dark Knight Returns as well. But it's still just nothing's topped it yet for me. I hope it does one day, but yeah, no, it's still my number one.
Yeah. Jamie, what about you?
I mean, Dark Knight Returns is my favorite animated movie, so by default, my favorite Batman movie. But I'd be remiss if I didn't mention how much I love Mask of the Phantasm, and if not for Dark Knight Returns, that would be my runaway favorite.
Yeah. Well, I'm the same as Brendan. I mean, Under the Red Hood, like, this question is always tough because it's Under the Red Hood or Mask of the Phantasm. I love them both almost equally, pretty much equally. They're both so great. And I just give Under the Red Hood the slightest advantage. I don't even know why I can't.
Because it brought us together.
It brought us together, exactly. It's more sentimental. So yeah,
well, I know what you two are watching next week for Valentine's Day.
Exactly, and I'm trimming up in prepreration.
We shave our balls.
That's right. I hope Jess and Catherine have fun hanging out. Because no girls allowed in this clubhouse.
I mean, as it stands now, Jess and Catherine will have to be watching the babies while you guys are going out.
That's fine. Enjoy that. Tell our kids we say hi, but we got a date. Anyway, Under the Red Hood, it's fantastic. Mask of the Phantasm, also fantastic. It's a really, really tough call, but for some reason, I just give the slightest edge to the Red Hood. Number 3, this should not be a hard one, animated show. Imad says Batman the Animated Series. Brendan?
I mean, is there any other answer?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you're going to find out the answer to that when we get to me, son.
Oh?
Oh, I reckon I know what you're going to say.
I have a hunch too, but
I don't think anybody's going to be surprised when I do say it. And listen, I mean absolutely no disrespect to Batman the Animated Series whatsoever, but Batman the Brave and the Bold, when I watch that show, boy, I do nothing but smile from opening credits to closing. I adore that show so much. It is such a love letter to so many classic things in the DC universe, including Batman himself. I don't have any argument against Batman the Animated Series. It's just for my own personal enjoyment as a whole. I just enjoy Brave and the Bold more.
I've obviously got to give a big shout out to the Batman as well. I love that show so much.
Yeah, for me, it's Batman Beyond. Because revisiting it
surprised everybody.
Yeah. I mean, I know you guys agree now that you've heard that. You're like, oh yeah, us too. Yeah. But anyway, I'm sorry. What were you saying, Jamie?
I was just Brendan goes to bat, no pun intended, for the Batman every single time the animated series stuff gets brought up. I mean, I don't know that I've ever watched more than like 2 or 3 episodes of that show, so maybe I need to buckle down one of these days and get through that one too.
It is good, but Brendan also needs to settle the fuck down. It's not that good.
It's underestimated. I think a lot of people even forget. Like they go straight from the animated series Batman Beyond to Brave and the Bold. It's like, no, there was a show that ran for 5 seasons in between those two. Like, you need to give it a shot, and it only gets better as the show goes on. So, and I really hope it's the next one we review after you've put me through Batman.
There's something to be said for longevity. There's not a great deal of animated shows. I mean, obviously there are certain exceptions to the rule. There's not very many animated shows that have that kind of a run as far as how many seasons and whatnot that they have. So they obviously were doing something right with that show.
Yeah. It certainly had its audience. It ran longer than Brave and the Bold, but I don't necessarily
it ran longer than Batman the Animated Series.
I mean, and the animated series,
technically yes, but I think animated series still had more episodes. Their seasons were just longer.
Because seasons were longer,
because the Batman seasons are like 13 episodes each.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think. I mean, I'll double check, but I'm pretty sure.
5 years for an animated show is impressive because obviously most of the animated shows are aimed at a younger audience, and so many people will age out of a show after 2 or 3 years, maybe. So something that lasts that long. I mean, again, even given the shorter season runs, that's still keeping your audience for a rather long time by that particular standard.
Yeah.
It's about to get a Blu-ray release here in Australia too, so I'm looking forward to that.
HBO Max here right now. I don't even have to go to the store to get it.
See? Well, seems like a good candidate for this show, but no, we're doing Batman 66 just to piss Brendan off.
Jesus, we'll never get through that.
No, we never will. We never will. Our kids can do it.
So from now on, Holy BatCast, every episode we'll be reviewing an episode of Batman 66, an episode of Batman Brave and the Bold, and an episode of The Batman. That's the whole show format from now on after Batman.
Hey, at least then we know we don't have the, hey, what should we do this week kind of conversations. So
that's very true. Very true.
Anyway, my choice, also Batman the Animated Series. It's as close to a perfect incarnation of Batman and his world as you can get. It changed the game. I would say it takes the best parts of all Batman media and boils it down into one amazing version of Batman and Robin and Gotham and the villains and everything. It's the best. But I do love the love for Brave and the Bold because that's a show that is so great and deserves all the love. And I think Young Justice is pretty close too, but it's not really a Batman show. But
see, that's the only reason I didn't have that for my answer is because it didn't, there's just not enough focal point on Batman for that to qualify.
Yeah, for this exactly. But still, it's great too.
And by the way, I kind of agree. I'm a few episodes into that latest season of Young Justice, and I got to tell you, I'm having a hard time with this one.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but yeah, it's a shame. It gets better, but this is not their strongest season.
I'll stick with it and I'll get through it. But man, the other one, I think I tore through like every episode the moment it was released, and this one I'm just dragging on.
Yeah. All right, next question, number 4, favorite Batman comic run, and Emad chose Court of Owls. Brendan?
Again, this will surprise no one if you've listened to this show for any period of time. My favorite Batman comic run is, I mean, I guess you can count it a run. I don't know. Favorite series is the Batman Adventures, based off Batman the Animated Series, because it's my favorite version of the character. They were the first comics that I ever really, like the first Batman comics I ever really read. But I also want to give a special mention to Paul Dini's Detective Run as well from back in the day, because, I mean, it's Paul Dini writing Batman. It was fantastic. It gave us Heart of Hush. Great run overall. So they're my two favorites.
Okay, great. Jamie?
This was one of the more difficult questions on the list for me to come up with a good answer for, because when I was in like the heat of my comic book reading phase one, if you will, probably, in the late 80s, 87, 88, around that era, so much of that era was so many standalone stories versus, ongoing arcs. Like pretty much the standard that you have in most modern comics is, about a 6-issue run for a story arc. And back then, not always, but it seemed to me like so much of it was those sort of things were reserved for like the summertime crossover series or event series or things, Nightfall or something along those lines. And like the just monthly publications were more or less their own thing. And again, that's not a hard and fast rule, but it's harder for me to come up with a run that maybe lasted 1 or 2 issues versus something that was more of an extended storyline. So
have you even given us a run yet? I feel like this has been quite the preamble.
No, I haven't.
Okay, great.
Get
All
off
right.
me.
Continue.
You act like you're in a hurry to go eat a cheeseburger.
I am. We're getting Five Guys. I can't wait, y'all.
Signed on Jackleg. Anyway, my favorite run, I'm just going to have to give it to the and this is so broad and so vague, but the Neil Adams, Denny O'Neil, Ra's al Ghul stuff from probably like the mid to late 70s, I think is probably my go-to stuff here, because it's not something that's like an offshoot series like Dark Knight Returns, which would have been obviously my answer, but I'm trying to find something that's more in the continuity of the main book, and with that, my answer is the Adams and O'Neil Ra's stuff from back in the day.
That's a great answer. That's a great answer.
I had to give a really
I didn't need the prequel. I didn't need episode 1 before we got to Star Wars. You could have just given me the answer.
All I'll say is I wish comics were more like what you just described, Jamie. I'd probably read them more if they were.
Well, I mean, it just feels like back then that's just how things were. And like things were present, but it wasn't like you do 6 issues and then you on to another 6 issues. It just doesn't feel like back then that's the way it worked.
Yeah. No, I missed that. All right. So yeah, when I picked a comic run, I had to choose story plus artwork. So like if I had all of the Batman comic stories in front of me, which one would I pick? And I picked one, even though I don't think it's the best story ever, I think it's really good. And I think the artwork is so gorgeous. It's just a fun run. And that is Hush. Because it's Jim Lee just doing what he does with all the Batman characters, and I love the artwork so much, and the story is very good. Yeah, that's why I went with Hush.
Hard to argue.
Yeah, it's a good time. All right, what's number 5? Favorite Batsuit in live action? Well, we did a whole episode on this, but
I mean, I think we're all in agreement. It's BVS, yeah.
One good turn deserves another. Yeah, well, Imad says BVS, so it sounds like you agree, Brendan.
Of course. That costume's the main reason I can't get on board with the Pattinson one, because it's just like, we had the perfect costume. Like, it's right there. It's comic. It's ripped off the pages. Like, it's, finally after how many years, 30 odd years of Batman movies of having like a black rubber or just like the straight black look, like we finally got the Batman from the comics, and it's been, 10 steps forward and 25 steps back at the moment.
Well, don't say it's black, dude. It's dark gray. I'll have you know.
Okay.
Someone got really mad at me for saying it was black.
Certainly looks black in the trailers.
Sorry, it's dark gray and black. It's different.
Okay.
Yeah, get your shit together. Jamie?
Could have fooled me. The nonconformist in me just wants to say Batman 66, but I mean, come on, BVS, Batfleck. I don't think you can go wrong with either costume in that film, but the standard traditional costume in BVS is, as far as I'm concerned, the best one we've seen on a screen to date.
Well, make it 3. Utah, get me 3. BVS. I mean, there were changes they made to the Justice League one that I liked better, but some of them not as much. So it was really hard between the two because I think they're both really, really great. But I think BVS comes out just a little ahead. I think because there's more contrast between the black and the gray than there is in Justice League. Justice League gets a lot closer. But yeah, man, boy, did they nail that suit in BVS. Holy shit, he looks so good. And like you said, when we got that first look at it, we did a whole freaking episode just talking about one picture, and I don't regret a minute of it. Looks so good.
I still remember Kevin Smith's reaction on Hollywood Babylon to saying Zack Snyder showed him on the phone the picture of Affleck in that costume. And Kevin Smith went on, I don't know how long of a tirade it was. It was good 10 or 15 minutes about, holy shit, they cracked it. You will not believe this freaking thing when you see it, and on and on. And then they showed it, and I was like, yep, he was right.
Yeah. And Snyder just knew how to shoot that cowl. Like, that cowl was so expressive, and he just knew how to shoot it so it looked awesome in every shot.
And Affleck was so good in the costume. And, you know, of course, shout out to friend of the show, Richard Citrone. He was also great because there's so many shots where you can't tell that it's him in there, but, you know, he's the one that brings so much of the movement of the character to life.
That's right. He made us believe you could do all that shit in that heavy-ass costume.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Made it look easy. So, no. Good. All right, next one. Favorite comic bat suit. Imad chose the New 52. Brendan?
For me, let me just get where my answer is here. Sorry, I did have this.
Oh my God.
I'm not doing this on purpose. I think for me, and I mean, this answer is going to probably come back around a little bit later on, but I think Jason Faybox.
Yeah.
Am I saying his name right?
That's how I say it, wrong. So I'll allow it.
It's pronounced Fabok.
Stop it.
Okay. I'll call him, JF. His Batman suit. I mean, obviously, the Batman costume in Hush is legendary, and rightfully so. But just for the sake of variety, currently my favorite, Batman artist is Jason Fabok, and his Batman costume, whether it be in, the Button or the Three Jokers or whatever else he does, it just looks brilliant. So I whenever he does the Batman suit, I love it.
All right. Excellent choice. What about you, Jamie?
Well, first thing, it's a missed opportunity, and I have to refer to him as JFab from now on. But
true.
I mean, I could make the same point about Jim Lee. I love the way he draws the costume and everything he does there. But the fanboy in me immediately goes right back to the second costume in Dark Knight Returns, not referring to the armored one, but the classic style that the BVS costume was based off of. I mean, I love that look. So, mark that down for the second time in a row. That black and gray style, I love it. There's just enough contrast. There's just enough classic look. You could certainly make the case for the yellow oval, which I've never had any problem with. Maybe if that second suit had been exactly what it is with the yellow oval on it, it would have been utter perfection. But I go with that suit in Dark Knight Returns.
All right, nice. Yeah, I went with very classic, but it was like somewhat modern at the time, and that was the Norm Brayfogle version in the early 90s.
Yeah.
Because it was still the blue and gray, and y'all know I love the blue and gray. I miss the blue and gray, still had the yellow oval, but it was like just a little cooler than maybe the 70s version. Like the 70s version was still sort of that Super Friends wholesome looking thing. And Norm could draw the blue and gray in such a way that still made it look somewhat modern. And I loved how he did that. And so, yeah, and this is also when I really got into reading comics, late 80s, early 90s. And so I just have a really strong nostalgic love for the Brayfogle Batman. But, oh, man, he could do a cape. Oh, yeah, this Batsuit looked awesome. I miss it. All right, next question, number 7. Your favorite Bat Family member. For Emod, it's Nightwing. What about you, Brendan?
I mean, cut and paste pretty much. Like, just Dick Grayson in general, whether it's Dick Grayson as Robin, Dick Grayson as Nightwing. To me, he's still the original and the best. A special mention to Tim Drake, obviously. He'd probably be my second, and then Babs coming in as well. But yeah, I mean, how can you go past Dick? Let's be honest. And I'm not saying that as a pun or to be trying to be funny. It's just that's how I feel. I think Dick is still the best.
Everyone
is the best.
loves Dick.
Yep. Who doesn't love Dick? Jamie, what about you? I think I know the answer, but please.
I mean, the obvious answer again for me, it's Barbara Gordon's Batgirl. She's been my favorite of the Bat family next to Batman himself for as far back as I can remember. I think she's a great character, and I think she's great as Oracle or any other iteration that she's served, but nothing tops Barbara's Batgirl for me. And to me, there's really no wrong answer here, and there's so many great ones because, I mean, Gordon.
Well, there's Damian.
Well, no. I even make the case for Damian being a really solid character. I mean, say what you will about whether or not you like him, but he's a very conflicted, deep character, and I've gained a lot of appreciation for him over the last few years. You guys don't necessarily agree with that. That's cool. Differing opinions doesn't mean we have to be at war with each other. To me, the only wrong answer was pre-Red Hood Jason Todd. I mean, but any of the other ones, Drake, Grayson, Gordon, Barbara, even some of the newer ones that I'm not even as familiar with, like there's a lot of love out there for, Cass Kane and there's even some for Stephanie Brown, which I don't personally understand that, but hey, everybody do your own thing and be you and like what you like. But Barbara's number one for me.
Yeah, nice. Not shocked, but good. And my answer won't shock either. It's Tim Drake as Robin. Tim Drake's Robin was the Robin I who was the current Robin when I got into comics. And I talked over the years about how much I love him just as a character. He's my favorite Robin because for me, Dick is always Nightwing and Tim is Robin. Jason is dead. That's how I like my Robins. Thank you very much. And Damian is still swimming around in Bruce's nutsack. That's how I like my Robins. Batman's trimmed up nutsack.
He's neatly trimmed
nutsack.
Yep.
He is bat-scaped.
In that Batman suit, he's gonna want some of that ball deodorant, I'm telling you.
I'll tell you. Especially the rubber version.
Yep.
But no, Tim Drake, I just love him as Robin. I love that he is not the best fighter, but he is the smartest. He is the detective. He is, and he also, no matter what, always just wants to do the right thing. He became Robin just because he wanted to help Batman and Robin, not because he wanted to become Robin. He fell into it. He was just trying to help Batman. And I like that he always tries to be the hero that whoever needs. So there's a selfless quality about him. So yeah, Tim Drake, he's the best. Plus the coolest Robin suit.
Can't argue with that. The Robin suit's awesome.
Yeah, it's great. All right, next one's kind of fun. Number 8, favorite bat gadget. And Emod chose the Batarang. Brendan?
I mean, I think the Batarang's kind of the stock standard answer. Like, I do like the grapple gun as well. That became sort of the replacement Batarang for Batman the Animated Series. So I think for me it's the bat grappling gun, but I do have to give a special mention to the shark repellent bat spray.
Ooh, good.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that because that was going to be my answer because, for all of the amazing stuff that Batman has, the shark repellent bat spray is hysterical and still makes me laugh out loud every time I watch that movie or see it referenced in any kind of pop culture or anything else. I love it. I think it's great because it's so of its time and tongue-in-cheek and what have you. If I have to give a more serious answer, I would probably say something along the lines of like the smoke pellets, just because I grew up watching so many ninja movies in the 80s that, somebody throwing down the smoke pellet and disappearing in it, I think is a really cool concept. So if I'm not going for the tongue-in-cheek answer with the bat shark spray, I'm going to go with smoke pellets.
Cool. No,
that's
fun.
Batarang. I mean, how do you not say Batarang for the right answer? It's just, I would say favorite bat gadget that's not a Batarang should have been how this is phrased. Just because.
Yeah. No, I agree with that because the Batarang it's such a mainstay in every version of Batman. So yeah, I mean that seems like the easiest answer. I agree with Brendan. I had grapple gun because I think it's very useful. I love how it's used in live action and in animation. It's what I want. If I want, And plus, y'all know how I love in adventure movies when people swing. This is how Batman swings, with the grapple gun. I can't get my Batman swinging if he doesn't have the grapple gun.
He raises
love
a
a
valid
swinger.
point.
Yep. He's a swinger with his neatly trimmed balls.
Oh, we're juvenile. But
Oh
you
my
know that.
God. Yeah. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. All right. Number 9, favorite Batman theme. Emad has Batman the Animated Series. Brendan?
We talked about this last episode. So, I mean, for me, it's Danny Elfman. Like I said in the last episode, if Jamie hasn't heard it yet, like that Danny Elfman Batman theme, like it's the Batman theme. Like it has been since 1989. Like there's obviously other versions of a Batman theme, but that Elfman, Batman March, whatever you want to call it, like that's the Batman theme. It just is, and it will be for all time. So it's got to be that one.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, Batman the Animated Series is just a different. It's that
It's a take
same
on
theme.
that.
It's just a spin on it. Yeah, it's the same music. So that's it.
Yep. Jamie?
I mean, the iconics. I mean, Elfman's, even 66 you can make the case for. I love The Dark Knight and the music there, that whole Nolan trilogy, or even the Snyderverse Batman stuff. But I got to tell you guys, this was a tough one for me too, because as much as I love all those, there's one piece of Batman theme music that will get stuck in my head for days upon days upon days, and I just love it so much. And that's the opening theme from Mask of the Phantasm.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
I love that piece of music so dearly, and I love so many of the themes that I mentioned there. And again, very tough answer, but I went with the one that I'll walk around whistling or humming or something, a week after I watched the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not to say I don't have that with the others. It's just this one just stands out for me, and I wanted to give it some love.
Mm-hmm. No, that's great.
Shirley Walker.
Yep, Shirley Walker. Yeah, I mean, mine, again, not a shock. It's the Elfman theme. It's just one of my favorite pieces of music ever. It's, I spent years humming it, and there have been a lot of great Batman music, like we talked about on the last episode, and I love the new theme too. But it all goes back to that Elfman theme. I have a really hard time picking anything above it. I just think it's perfection. It's what Batman sounds like, and it is the theme for the ages. And when you, like you said, when you pick animated series or even Mask of the Phantasm to a certain degree, it's all taken from the Elfman theme. Even the Schumacher films, it's a spin on the Elfman theme. So that Elfman theme made such an impact that there's parts of it in almost every Batman theme after it. You can feel that inspiration because that's just how closely it connects with that character, because it's a beautiful piece of music.
Like, I remember being 9 when the animated series started airing over here in 93, and even then, as a kid, like, my brain just exploded. The fact that this cartoon was using the same music from the movies. Like, aside from the real Ghostbusters, which, I guess it was an extension of those movies, like, I couldn't think of it ever happening before, because Batman the Animated Series isn't like the real Ghostbusters. It's its own thing. It's not an extension of the movie. So it just blew my little 9-year-old mind that they were using, and the fact that a cartoon was using an orchestrated score like that was so different. And again, it's all Elfman, so you got to take your hats off to the man.
Yeah,
and that piece of music, it's just brilliant.
Mm-hmm. Cool. All right, next one up is your favorite Bat villain. Emad chose Bane. What about you, Brendan?
I always struggle with this one. I don't have a favorite, like a standalone favorite. I genuinely don't. I have some that I don't like as much as others, but I kind of have to cheat here and use Batman 66 as the mold, because for me it's the big, like, Joker, Penguin, Riddler, Catwoman. Like, it's those four that still form for me, like,
the big four
of Batman.
Yeah, the Mount Rushmore, right?
Yeah, so I really have to give it to those. Like, out of those four, like, Penguin's probably my least favorite. But, there's some really good Penguin stories going back to Batman the Animated Series and stuff. Like, there's some great Penguin stories out there, and, Penguin Pain and Prejudice and stuff. Like, he still deserves that, and I mean, Two-Face, I guess I could swap Penguin out for Two-Face if you're looking at personal preference, but in terms of narrowing it down just to one, I really can't do it. He's got the greatest rogues gallery in comics, and yeah, I just can't whittle it down to one. So the big four plus throw in Two-Face and I guess Harley Quinn as well.
So you picked your top six?
Yeah.
Your answer is Batman Sinister Six. Way to go, Brendan.
No, Brendan, come on. Oh, well, you're of no help at all, Jamie.
I'm not. I'm sorry.
Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah.
What other answer am I going to give?
Yeah, that's true.
You guys have heard me spout on about this for as long as this show's been on the air.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of favorites because he has such a great rogues gallery. But if I'm just going to pick one, I'm going to pick the Riddler. I love the Riddler.
Yeah.
Yep. I love his look. I love his design. I love how smart he is. I think that he's such a great character. And
enough about the Paul Dano version. What about the other versions?
So I just
y'all ain't right.
I think he's the coolest, and so more Riddler, please.
I would someday like a redo on that Batman Villains tournament bracket thing because I'm still not over that.
I know. But how can you be mad at the Joker winning? He's the Joker. Come on.
It's always going to happen.
The simple answer is just because of the argument that was made for him. He's the Joker.
Well. All right.
I think was that before my time. I don't think I was on that episode.
I think it might have been.
Yeah,
it was fun to listen to, though.
We had Michael Lyons on to be the
judge.
Mediator.
Yeah.
And it was me, Leroy, Andy, Kevin Vincent. And
if Leroy and Kevin were on, it was definitely before my time.
And Phil. Was it Phil on it? Yeah, because I remember Phil. Yes, because I remember Phil making the case for the Riddler. So yeah.
And y'all didn't give me Roz. You gave it to Leroy, and that's why the battle.
Oh, you're blaming Leroy. Okay.
Well, I ain't blaming Roz for losing to the Joker. I can tell you that.
All right. So what's up next? This is number 11. Favorite bat symbol. He chose Batman the Animated Series. Brendan?
I mean, when you say symbol and Batman the Animated Series, do you mean like the logo of the show or just like the symbol on the chest? I take
it to be the symbol on the chest.
Okay, because I mean, for me, I'm a traditionalist. I do like the yellow oval. Like, I just do. In terms of live action, the yellow oval, I think the Panther suit in Batman Forever probably did it best. But I mean, yeah, if you're going to go yellow oval, I guess Batman the Animated Series, when they do it well in comics as well, the yellow oval is still my favorite. It's what I grew up knowing, so I can appreciate the plain black across the chest, but it's the yellow oval for me.
Mm-hmm. Jamie?
If we're talking about the logo on the chest, I mean, how do you go against the yellow oval in any iteration, comics, movies, animated or otherwise? I simply don't know how you pick one that's more iconic or recognizable than that. If I'm going for like a favorite Batman logo that isn't just the chest logo, there was one, and forgive me because I don't even know the specific era, but I want to say it was maybe the 60s or 70s comics run where like the title logo on the cover, it said Batman, but like the corner had like Batman draping his cowl across his face. You know the one I'm talking about?
I think
vaguely.
But the one I'm picturing is more recent than that. So I don't know about the 60s version.
Well, I mean, there was one that was like, it said Batman, but it looked like the bat symbol and like his head was on the center top.
Yeah, yes.
I feel like the one I'm talking about was what came after that.
Oh, okay.
I could be wrong on the placement of it. I can see the logo in my head, but it's hard for me to describe. But somebody out there screaming like the exact date that came into print and how long it ran and everything else. But I always thought that was just the coolest friggin' thing in the world.
Cool. Yeah, I also love the yellow oval. I like both versions from Batman 89. I love the poster version. That's the more traditional one. And I even love the one on his chest with the extra scallops on the tail. I think it was just a cool little change. And that's why I have that on the rug in my office. And when Hot Topic sold a t-shirt of it, I had to buy it because, yeah, it's so unique. And it's just for that movie. So it just makes me wistful for that film. So... yes, always yellow oval, but if I'm going to pick a very specific one, it's the 89 variation.
Good answer.
I did.
All right, what is number 12 favorite Batmobile from any medium? Emad chooses the animated series again. He loves him some animated series, and I respect that. Favorite Batmobile, any medium, Brendan. Why is it Batman Forever, and why are you wrong?
No, well, again, I think we only mentioned this last week, and it's the same as the Elfman score. The Anton Furst Tim Burton Batmobile, to me, it's the Batmobile. Like, everyone else has done their spin on it, including Batman the Animated Series. Like, it sort of takes what that 89 Batmobile is and does its version of it. But I mean, it's iconic. How can you not? I mean, yeah, look, as a kid, I still do. Like, I have a soft spot for the Batman Forever Batmobile. I love that giant fin, and I know you've told me what I can do with it before.
Do you want to take a ride in his love machine, baby?
But seriously, it's still, how can you? It's like, to me, it's like the Ultimate theme. How can you go past the 89 Batmobile? It's iconic. It's amazing. I've ridden in 2 of them. Like, I'm always going to pick the 89 Batmobile, the Anton Furst Tim Burton Batmobile, to be more specific.
All right, okay. Jamie?
I love the 89 Batmobile. I adore it. I had posters of it hanging on my wall for years growing up. But I've said this for a very long time. Again, it sounds like a broken record. If I'm picking practical application, if I was Batman, which one would I want? I want the Tumbler. If I'm picking the cruiser that I want to go around and look cool in, I pick 66 because it's a convertible.
So you're picking 3?
Yeah, pick one. Commit.
No, Brendan got to pick 6 villains.
I got 6 villains.
Oh my god. There's no order on this show. It's nothing but chaos. Some men just want to watch the world burn. And those men are you guys.
If I pick the one I want to use, if I'm Batman, I pick the Tumbler. If I have to pick the one that I just think looks the coolest, it's 66.
Okay. Mine, I'm with Brendan. It's the Anton Furst Tim Burton Batmobile. It's perfect. And as Brendan said, it's just like, it's so synonymous with the Batmobile at this point. It's just become legendary. And it's so crazy to think, to try and put our heads into a space before 1989, before we had seen that Batmobile. And the fact that when they created it and you saw the movie and you went, oh, of course, that's what the Batmobile should be. And it was so different and yet somehow still so perfect that every Batmobile still was trying to top it. I love a lot of Batmobiles, but yeah, 89, man.
If I look to my right, like, I've got 3 models of it right there, like, of the one car. Like, I've still got my original little toy I got in 1989. I've got the smaller model of it with the shields, and I've got the big ass Hot Wheels model, like, all there. It's beautiful.
Yeah. And Jamie, your point is valid. If you want function, this is probably not the choice, but I'm going style over substance. It's just so damn cool.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Again, I love that 89 Batmobile. I do. And I'm sure some car enthusiast out there is going to correct me, so I'm just going to say it. Technically, the 66 is a roadster, not a convertible, because it doesn't have a retracting top. It's just an open top vehicle.
It doesn't convert.
Look, I didn't want to say anything, but
we were all thinking it.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the tweets I'm going to have to deal with after this, Jamie.
Send them all to
Lowy.
mad_milks.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's nice to share the love. Usually it's just Lowy 007.
Well, he's on the show, so it's hard for me to throw him under the bus like that.
No, it's not. Just do it.
Stopped you before.
Yeah, come on. That's what he's here for. All right. So what is number 13? Our favorite comic artist. Emad chose Jim Lee. Brendan?
Cut and paste with Jason Fabok.
Yeah.
My 2 favorites.
Great.
Jim Lee.
Can't go wrong with Jim Lee. His versions of the entire Bat universe. Like I said, same reason I love Hush so much. Man, he knows how to draw these characters. I think he might have a future in this business.
And can I give the brother some love on his X-Men work back in the day?
Oh, dude. Don't even get me started. Legendary. But I want to give a special shout out to Jose Luis Garcia Lopez.
Classic.
Oh my God, because that guy's artwork, every time I see it on social media, you know how you always get a like from me? Post one of his photo or one of his drawings of anything, and I'm going to like it because it's just so damn good. It's so classic. The whole DC universe looks amazing when it's drawn by Jose Luis Garcia Lopez.
Ain't even mad at that.
All right, number 14, favorite Batman quote. Imad is the quote of the one man who beat you from The Dark Knight Returns, Frank Miller. Brendan, do you have a favorite Batman quote? He didn't say any particular media, so you can pick anything.
I like the classic quote from the year one. You've eaten well, and that one. I can't remember the exact wording of it, but that one I do like that. But I think for me, my favorite, going back to Under the Red Hood, is at the end. You know how Jason's kind of pleading with Batman, or why, of all the villains, why did you let him live? He took me away from you. And how Batman responds with the whole damn it, there isn't a day where I haven't wanted to. I'm kind of paraphrasing here, but the one where I haven't wanted to kill him. But if I do that and I go to that place, I'll never come back.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that quote because it would be so easy for Batman to kill someone like the Joker or all these villains who, the revolving door at Arkham, but he can't, so.
And the Peacemaker just made fun of that, yeah.
Yeah, it shows that internal struggle that he has, and I really like that quote. And it's the quote, but the performance in that movie, it just really stands out. It's great.
All right.
I mean, I'm Batman is. It's hard to go by.
Yeah, but
But just for the sake of variety, I went with something different.
Yeah. I was expecting you to say, "I'll get drive-through." Jamie, favorite Batman quote?
Make no mistake. I have a $70,000 sliver of a radioactive meteor to stop the one from Metropolis. All I need for you is a penny for a book of matches.
That is so good, and I'm so pissed I didn't think of it.
Oh, come on. No, we knew Jamie had that covered.
When I was thinking of it this morning, that didn't even enter my mind, but damn, it's a good quote.
Mm-hmm.
That quote is the reason Guy Milks and I have been friends for as long as we have. That's kind of what we bonded over in this comic book group way back in the day, and he and I agree. Andy doesn't necessarily agree. Menus at restaurants. Guy and I think that is the one quote that sums up Batman the best.
It's
because
hard
that's
to argue
him.
with.
He's
really
prepared
good.
for every scenario that you could throw at him, and that quote there shows exactly how prepared he is for any contingency he has to deal with. I've always loved that quote dearly.
I do think it is a great line. I do. But I just feel the underlying threat of it. It's just not his most heroic moment.
Okay.
Still very Batman though. I do like that line.
I like it too. I do like it too. I'm not saying it's not a good quote. It is.
I mean, just to piss you off, I almost said about the thing, deep down he's a good person, and deep down I'm not.
See, that's bullshit. I mean, because my quote kind of goes in line with this. See, I feel like somewhere along the way, fandom, we forgot that Batman is a hero. Batman does what he does because he wants to make the world a better place. He wants to make Gotham a better place. He wants to help people. He wants to help all of the little kids out there so they don't have to go through what he went through when his parents were murdered in front of his face. Batman's a hero. Yes, he's conflicted. Yes, he's complex. Yes, he has a dark side. But I just miss us celebrating him as a hero, someone who wants to do the right thing.
So Andy's favorite quote is the one from the animated series where he says he never watched It's a Wonderful Life because he can never get over the title.
I mean, I do love that quote too. That's a great one.
It's good.
It is one of my favorites. So my favorite Batman quote is the end of Batman Begins, when Gordon says, "I never said thank you," and Batman says, "And you'll never have to."
Yes, that's a great one too.
So I think that sometimes we take the darkness of Batman a little too far and we forget he's supposed to be a hero.
No, he's the Robert Smith of crime fighting.
All right. And then this one's interesting. So number 15, he said, favorite Batman punchline. And so I don't think he quite means a joke, but like some sort of quip or something he says that's kind of clever or fun in a fight. And so what he said is, while interrogating a henchman in the Telltale games, the man says, "I won't break," and Batman says, "But your bones will." So a favorite punchline, which is different from a quote, Brendan.
The one that sprung to mind for me was from The Dark Knight, where they're emptying out the bunker. And, he turns to Alfred and he's like, "I'm going to tell him this was all your idea."
I love that one.
Nice.
But remember, those movies were humorless and had no joy and no jokes, no anything. Remember.
What about you, Jamie?
I go with The Dark Knight too, but in my case, it's where he's holding Maroni out over the edge of the thing, and he's like, "From one professional to another, choose a different floor. A fall from this height wouldn't kill me. I'm counting on it." And he drops him. I think that's fantastic. Makes me laugh every single time.
Awesome. Okay, this is crazy. We all picked a moment from The Dark Knight. And I was so worried you guys were going to pick mine. Mine is at the big Harvey Dent fundraiser when Joker says, "Ooh, you got a little fight in you. I like that." And Batman goes, "Then you're going to love me."
I love that.
Perfect. Oh, so perfect. I love it. How fun. All three Dark Knight.
We can also get, I got to give a shout out to this one too, because I think it's great in Batman Begins, where he gets Flass, where he drops him, he's like hanging him from that building in that rain. And he's like, "I swear to God, swear to me." I know that's not really played as a joke, but for some reason that also makes me laugh every single time.
It's awesome. It's good. All right. Well, there you go. That was all 15. Thanks, Imad. Good stuff. These are a few of our favorite Bat things.
Yeah, that was a good time. I liked it.
All right, cool. So, all right. Thank you for writing us, Imad. And it was fun. Just fun to chat through this stuff. But, as we said, we're getting very close to the end of Batman Beyond. And so we watched the next episode. So without further ado, it is time for the next episode of Batman Beyond. Right, we're getting awfully close. This one is Season 3, Episode 4, Big Time, directed by James Tucker, story by Robert Goodman and Tom Ruegger, and written by Robert Goodman. This one aired on October 7th of 2000. So we got this gang of criminals out there. They're running heists. They're trying to steal some chemical that helps crops grow, and they're going to use it for God knows what. And they have a failed heist because Batman stops them. Although it's pretty cool because they have like a big, huge truck, and they manage to get another truck in the truck. It was a pretty neat little heist. But Batman stops them.
The truck needed to say "slaughter" is the best medicine, or the best medicine on the side.
Yeah. That was missing. I just kept thinking of Christmas Vacation. We are under a truck. Do you honestly think I don't know that?
It's very Bondian, like the old movies. There's always like a vehicle that would snap up a smaller vehicle inside it.
Yep. So anyway, back in real life, Terry runs into an old friend, Charlie Big Time Bigelow. And apparently they have a past. Charlie, or Big Time, just got out of prison. He was in for 3 years because he was stealing. He brought Terry along. Terry was underage, so Terry got a slap on the wrist, while Big Time went to prison for 3 years. So Terry feels responsible. He feels guilty. He wants to give Charlie the benefit of the doubt and help him out. So immediately, Big Time starts looking at jobs he can pull, what he can steal. And Terry's like, no, man, don't do this. You just got out. Do you really want to go back? And so he gets him a job at Wayne Powers, sort of midnight shift, doing data entry, I think he says. Turns out that his roommate, when in prison, cellmate, is working with this gang to get this chemical from Wayne Powers. And so he knew this. They used Charlie to get into Wayne Powers to get the info. He manages to get the security guard's handprint so that way they can pull another heist. They do. Batman stops them again. Big Time ends up getting doused with chemicals, which in any comic book movie or comic book show means you don't die, you just get powers. And so poor Big Time, he morphs out of control and becomes this big, hulking, monstrous creature. And he comes for revenge against this gang. The leader of this gang, he's kind of like Sinestro crossed with Wolverine.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, the Wolverine thing certainly stuck out to me.
And so Big Time comes after him. Batman stops them all. He doesn't want to hurt Charlie, but he does stop him. And so Big Time ends up getting locked up. And Terry feels real guilty because he wanted to help this guy. And unfortunately, this guy's headed. Now he's disfigured, and now he's heading back to prison. So it's a shame, but I think Max is the one who's like, you can't blame yourself. He makes his own choices. And so that is Big Time. What did you think, Brendan?
You know what? I actually kind of liked this one, surprisingly. I liked how the crux of the episode was kind of like a not low level, but low to medium level crime story. It was sort of that business espionage type thing, and I liked it. It didn't, aside from the morphing at the end, it wasn't sort of all, whiz bang lasers and like ink, someone turning into liquid and that kind of stuff. Like it was a crime story. And I liked it. I mean, you knew Big Time Bigelow as soon as he showed up. It's like, okay, well, you're a villain. Like, so it's a new character shows up, and it's like, well, you're obviously going to be a foil for Terry. So, no surprises there. But they never played it as a mystery. Like they put it on Front Street that this guy's bad news. But I mean, I can even take him morphing into the character. Like it was his comeuppance. I get he was. What are they, hung by his own petard? Was that the saying? Like,
I don't quite know that saying, but I think I get the gist of what you're trying to say. Yeah. I mean, I really can't add more to it. The fact that I was pleasantly surprised, and it was an episode I genuinely enjoyed watching. Oh, all right. What about you, Jamie?
I thought it was a decent enough episode, but I mean, you have a hard time going wrong with me where you have a Batman episode guest starring Wolverine, the Toxic Avenger, and one of the mutant gang from Dark Knight Returns. So, big points in that lineup there. Voice cast. Did you happen to catch this? And we live in a world where Stephen Baldwin got billing over William H. Macy and Robert Patrick.
Oh God, I did not see that.
Yeah, because they always have like, Batman, Terry, or Bruce Terry, and then whoever like the big guest villain is, and then the second page of the credits they list the rest of the voices on the show.
Yeah.
So it was the Batman or Bruce Terry and Stephen Baldwin as Bigelow, and then the next page was William H. Macy and Robert Patrick and everybody else.
Wow. All right, that's fun.
They had some hitters in this one. Of course, I don't know if anybody knew what the hell William H. Macy was in I guess it was 2000, but you get my point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Episode, again, decent enough. I don't think it was anything great. I don't think it was anything like particularly memorable. It was just adequate, but still a pretty good time. I don't have a lot to say about it because I frankly don't think there was much going on here other than some action pieces. And they tried to give some heart to Terry in this one, which I guess I appreciate because Bruce oftentimes was sympathetic to his villains. You know, Harvey always comes to mind for me because it feels to me like Harvey is the one he's always trying to help because of his relationship to Harvey prior to becoming Two-Face. I really feel like they tried to play on that angle with Terry here, which gives a little bit more depth to the character. So, I mean, points for trying. I don't think it was particularly strong in the way that it was done.
I had the same thought, actually, as I'm like, oh, it's kind of like Bruce and Harvey here. Terry's got Charlie, where it's his friend. He knows that he means well. He wants to help him. He's still got hope for him. And so, yeah, I thought the same thing. I liked this one. I thought it was good. I liked that it was another villain origin. I liked the personal aspect between Terry and Charlie and their past together, because it does give Terry a vested interest where he doesn't really want to hurt this guy. He doesn't want to stop him. I like that Bruce, doesn't quite trust him and he keeps checking up on him. I think that that's cool. And yeah, I like that you've got another new Rogues Gallery. Kind of reminded me of Blockbuster from the comics. Similar to that. I wish the design was a little cooler for the end because he just kind of looks gross. But I guess that's the point, right? It's a tragic thing.
I think so. I kind of thought about the guy at the end of RoboCop a little bit.
Yeah, totally. But I thought it was a solid one. I enjoyed it. I liked, I liked making it personal to Terry. I think that worked.
I do think it would have gone a long way for me in the episode. Bruce obviously was trying to give him the warnings of what he was dealing with in trying to help out somebody. And then, of course, Bruce, being the suspicious mind that he is, gets the background of the cellmate being busted for insider trading and, seeing where this could possibly lead. Bruce, and I know we're trying to pack a bunch of this into a 19-minute animated episode. I get that. But Bruce saying, I used to have this friend named Harvey that I went through the same thing with. I was always trying to help him, but ultimately I could never get him back on the side of the angels, if you will. A conversation like that would have gone a little further for me.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. All right, well, letter grades for Big Time. Brendan?
B+.
Oh, Jamie?
C+. All
right, I'm with Brendan, B+. Thought it was pretty good. Next one's the one we've been waiting for, Jamie. It is Out of the Past.
Don't you dare do this one without me.
Okay, that's a deal.
Because I've never seen it. I've specifically been reserving. Everybody's been talking about this for like a year. I've specifically been saving this episode to watch just before we review it on the show so I can go in 100% fresh with everything.
Okay.
And I'm looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to hear what you have to say about it. I haven't seen it in ages, but I remember it being one of the really good ones.
I've never seen it either, so...
Nobody cares if you've seen it, Brendan. This isn't about you. It's about Jamie.
All I can say is I saw the thumbnail
I love you.
preview on HBO Max for the next episode, and I saw Talia, and I was like, whoo!
There you have it. Cool. All right, Out of the Past next time as we continue our march through Batman Beyond. But fun times, it's not time to say goodbye just yet, because we have to answer all of your emails and see what you fine feathered finks are up to and crack open the Wayne Manor mailbox. It's time again for the Wayne Manor mailbox.
You've got mail.
Darren, what is a letter for me?
Maybe temporary.
She wrote a letter.
You're one hell of a messenger. This is all, Master Wayne.
All right, first email here is from Ian Jacobs. It says, hey boys, fun one to think about. You can take one villain from each Bat universe and put them into one film. Who are you going with? For example, I would say Penguin from the Burton films, Two-Face from Schumacher, Joker from Nolan, and Zod from Snyder. Congrats on all your personal news. Keep up the great work, Ian. Thanks, Ian. Okay, this is kind of similar to what we were doing with like the Sinister Six, where we were picking from different versions, but you only get to pick one from each universe. So, okay. Brendan. One Bat villain from each universe in the same movie. And I assume that like time doesn't matter. We have a special portal to get them all in the same movie at the same time.
Okay. Are we counting Schumacher as a separate universe to Burton?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, well, I guess then Catwoman from the Burton era, Riddler from Schumacher, Joker from Nolan, and it's kind of hard with Snyder because, I mean, does that counts, I guess, the overall DCEU, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Look, I'm gonna have to say Harley Quinn, I think.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. Jamie, what about you?
Oh, Burton, I'm going to say Catwoman, Michelle Pfeiffer. Schumacher, I'm going to say Poison Ivy, just because I like Uma, and I'd like her to get another crack at it with a little more serious take. From Nolan, Joker. I mean, I can't go wrong with Ledger's Joker. I simply can't. And from the DCEU Batman stuff, I'm going to cheat, I guess, because it didn't technically come from a Batman movie, but it's from the same arc, Deathstroke.
Okay. Well, first of all, you guys didn't even include Batman 66, which I am.
Okay.
So Riddler from Batman 66.
That's who I would have chosen from that.
Then Catwoman from Burton. I'm with you, Jamie. Uma Thurman, Poison Ivy from Schumacher. And Joker from Nolan. And Harley Quinn from DCEU. So it's very female heavy, but nothing wrong with that.
No. Need a little more female love with this stuff.
Who did you pick from DCEU? Sorry, I missed that.
Harley.
Harley. Oh, yeah, cool.
Yeah. I mean, that Harley and Ledger's Joker could be a lot of fun.
It could be, actually.
I'd pay $1, maybe even $1.25 to watch that.
Yeah. All right. Next message is from Bat Sam from Boston. It says, hey guys, easy one today. We know the Batman will sometimes pack the Bat Belt for special assignment, but how many items can we name that are in his regular nightly patrol Bat Belt? Obviously batarangs and bat shark repellent, but what else? Okay, so like...
See, the shark repellent was right behind the batarang. Y'all catch that?
Those are the two most important. So, I mean, it's funny. This is actually very convenient based on what we were talking about earlier. You got to add the grapple gun, don't you?
Grapple gun?
Smoke pellets?
Grapple gun, for
smoke
sure.
pellets?
Grapple gun and smoke pellets.
Yeah.
I would say some sort of an antidote for the Joker laughing gas and or Scarecrow fear toxin.
Good.
Gas
And
mask?
yeah, I was going to say gas mask, totally. Lockpick.
What's that one thing called? A rebreather where he goes underwater with?
Yeah. Yep.
I would say that's in there.
Mm-hmm. That's a pretty packed belt already, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have to get Rob Liefeld to draw this.
Yeah.
Snacks?
Yeah, right. Coupons for Little Caesars.
The blood sugar. We have the Batman credit card.
Shut up.
Never leaves the cave with it.
And his Manscaped trimmer in case he runs into Catwoman.
Of course, yeah. That's funny.
All right.
Laser pointer for Catwoman.
Good. Raw fish in case he runs into Penguin. All right, next question is from Tom Fallows. It says, hey guys, hope you're doing well. One thing that really annoys me that is brought up about Batman is the age-old argument that if Batman is so effective, why is there so much crime in Gotham? And why are his villains always escaping from Arkham? My question is this: why does Batman get the brunt of these arguments when superheroes like Superman and Spider-Man also have their villains escaping all the time? Thanks. I hope you can set this right, Tom Fallows. Thanks, Tom. What say you, Brendan? Why do people complain about this?
I wonder if it's because in the worlds of Superman and Spider-Man, correct me if I'm wrong though, like Arkham is very well known. You know, even I guess to fans who aren't as hardcore as us, like there's kind of that known place where they all go. And to my knowledge, I just don't think the other characters have that. So the prison is a very well-known entity.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the only thing I can think of, really, as to why.
Yeah. Jamie, any thoughts?
I think this is one of those things where people just want to argue about something, so they come up with something one day about it. I mean, obviously the real answer is story convenience for however a writer wants to get things kicked off for an arc, or get a character sprung from Blackgate or Arkham, or in Marvel's case, the Vault, or anything like that. It's just like those questions that people like to ask that are out of their way argumentative, like, can God make a rock so big that even he can't lift it? You know, it's a real conundrum of a question on how they get out and how the crime runs rampant and why he can't really stop it, and is he effective? I mean, the bottom line is we're talking about a fictional story for fictional characters that's written to entertain and make people think. But in that case, I don't think people are looking to be entertained or thinking. They're just looking to fight with somebody about something, or be argumentative. And I frankly think it's kind of a waste of time. I mean, if you look at it from a really academic type of a standpoint, I'm sure you could probably come up with some really brilliant thoughts in either case for it. But is this really why we're fans, is to figure this out? Or are we just going to enjoy these characters and how they're presented to us?
Yeah.
That's kind of where I stand with it.
Yeah. The answer is you can't have stories unless Batman has villains causing trouble. It's going to be a real short series if they all die or they all stay locked up the whole time. And that's true not just for Batman, but for all comic book characters. That's why we have stories. And you're right, it's true for every comic book character. Their villains are always coming back. They're always escaping. And why is it different for Batman? And I think it's just because Batman is a victim of his own success. He's so popular. He has so many fans. The internet loves Batman. And whenever anything is that popular, there's a whole group of people who want to shit on it, find any excuse to shit on it. And I see that a lot with Batman, like that stupid thing that makes the rounds every month about, oh, all he does is beat up the mentally ill. Blah, blah, blah. Like, it's just people, like Jamie said, trying to pick a fight over something that's popular, and they're annoyed that it's popular, so they try to poke holes in it, but it's the same holes you can poke in any comic book character because they're fiction, they're comic books. You need the villains around if you want to have fun adventures and fun stories. Settle down.
It's like when I want to be argumentative with people about, like, say, Iron Man, and I talk about how Tony Stark is usually the cause of every problem that Tony Stark deals with. I know that's a lazy ass argument. I'm just trying to get a rise out of people, and I think that's exactly what people are doing here. So.
Yep, exactly. All right, next message is from Ronald Balls.
Yes.
Swear to God.
Can't script this stuff.
Swear to God. Hi, Ronald. I'm sorry.
Fun fact:
we're not laughing at you.
The city I live in has a street in one of the parks because one of the mayors of our city was Harry Balls. I am not making this up. It's Baals. And everybody that, when I was in high school and everything, because this park was over by where I went to school, and there's like several schools in that area, would steal the street sign off of this street. Like, I can't tell you how many times they replaced it, to the point where they actually had to change it to H Balls Avenue so people would stop stealing the sign.
Wow.
Anyway.
How many did you get, Jamie?
0, because I'm not that guy.
Okay. Tell me the truth off air. It's fine.
No, I'm dead serious. I'm not that guy. I stole a hood ornament off of a Mercedes once, and I still feel guilty about it. So, yeah. Anyway.
Okay. Anyway, Ronald, we're not laughing at you, but that's just as good timing. So, Ronald, thanks for messaging. Here's what he says. He says, hey, guys, I'm Ronald, the silent listener here. I just wanted to chime in on the email that you said where you would rank the live-action Batman movies in order before the release of The Batman. I think it would be a great build-up to the movie coming out. Also, good luck with the baby, Andy. Thanks for the podcasts. Here's to a great year of DC content. Thanks, Ronald. So no question, just another vote for us ranking the live-action Bat films before The Batman. I love that plan. I'm excited to be a part of it. Let's make it happen. So, guys, very soon. Let's do this.
Tell them about the Twinkie.
What about the Twinkie?
That's a big Twinkie.
All right. Next message is from Jalen. It says, "Hey, Andy, Jamie, and Brendan. It's Jalen writing in again about the Batman and Robin mural from the Batgirl set. Since it's widely accepted that Keaton is going to take over the role of Batman from Affleck and the DCEU moving forward, that all of his continuity and history would be implemented into the universe, as well as his version of Robin. And since it's been stated by Andy Muschietti in an interview a while back that Joel Schumacher's films are going to be treated as their own thing, separate from Keaton's, I figured that this particular Robin would have to be Drake Winston from the Batman '89 comic, hence the reason he's wearing a full yellow face mask in the mural. Now, I could be wrong, but it would make a lot of sense for them to fold in the current Robin for Keaton instead of introducing a new one. Just a fun thought. Have a wonderful day. Long live the BatCast. Jalen." Thanks, Jalen. What do you think, Brendan? Do you think that Keaton's Robin would be Drake from the comic?
Possibly. I don't know. It's hard because I know, like, technically, like, I guess really technically it should be Chris O'Donnell. But I completely understand, as someone who loves Batman Forever, I completely understand why you would kind of just not use the continuity of those two movies and just stick with Batman and Batman Returns. I get that. So using that logic, I guess it has to be like what the plan was. Is using one of the, I can never remember which one. If it was it Marlon Wayans?
Yep.
Yeah, like I guess you kind of have to go with that, but yeah, I don't know.
Jimmy?
I'd say at this point, anybody's doing speculating, and I think that's as good of a theory as any I've heard so far.
All right. Here's the thing. I don't think it would be Drake Winston. I feel like the Batman '89 comic, I'm really enjoying it, but I don't understand why they created a new character to be that Robin, because Marlon Wayans was supposed to play Dick Grayson. If you read the original script to Batman 2 by Sam Hamm, who's now writing the comic, it was Dick Grayson. So I don't know why they changed it to a whole new character that's not Dick Grayson or Jason Todd or Tim Drake or anything. So I don't know if that would be the case. It just depends on how much you want to think that the Batman '89 comic is truly in continuity. I think that as far as the movie goes, the things that are in continuity are Batman and Batman Returns, and neither of those featured a Robin, even though both of them had scripts with Robin included. And so it really can be anything. But if you really, I mean, if in your head canon, the Batman '89 comic is 100% continuity, then maybe it would be. I just don't see it that way. I feel like it's sort of a, another here's what could have happened kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't take that as continuity. I take that as like a fun, like a what if.
Yeah.
But when I say like, that version of the character, I mean like, the Marlon Wayans black version, whether it's the name of the character, is it Winston Drake? Is that right?
Drake Winston,
sorry. Whether it's that name or Dick Grayson, I think you go the, the person of color for that version.
And that's fine, except
name, yeah.
The mural is not a person of color. That Robin is a white boy.
Oh, it is too, yeah.
So that doesn't really quite pan out. And again, what ifs don't really count for continuity. It's what's actually in the film, and there's no Robin in those films, so it could go anyway.
True.
So, I mean, my guess is Robin ain't showing up. And if these rumors, which I don't put a lot of weight to, if these rumors that Dick Grayson shows up in Batgirl, then I guess we'll get our answer. I'm not holding my breath for that. I think that's just speculation based on the mural, but I'd be all for it if it happened. All right, we got one last one here from our pal Ryan Lauer from the Batman Book Club. Here's what Ryan says. He says, "Greetings, gents. If Jamie's on this episode, I hope he survived the snowstorm that we had in Fort Wayne. If he isn't, maybe he's digging himself out." You survived, Jamie?
It's miserable crap, but yes, we made it through.
You know what you need? You need an ice scraper like the one that comes with the Riddler action figure.
No, I need Brendan to come over and shovel this shit so he understands why I hate it.
Okay, that's fine too.
13 and a half inches.
Yikes. You going to pay for his airfare?
That depends on how good of a job he does. He comes here.
You know
first
what?
and
If you
figure
pay
that
for
out.
the airfare, I'll come and do it. Don't you worry.
Yes, you're going to come to the United States, and where are you going to visit? Fort Wayne, Indiana. The best
I
we
can
have
just
to
see
offer.
my wife walking up and saying, "The driveway looks great. How much did you pay to get that done?" About $1,700.
Money
I mean,
well
it
spent.
gets me there. I can afford the flight from there to Florida. Don't get me wrong.
All right, great. All right. So anyway, what does he say? Question for you guys: what is your most cherished Batman thing? Anything counts, no restrictions. Mine would have to be a literal Batman shelf that is big and accurate to the oval symbol. Take care and keep up the good work. Thanks, Ryan. Ryan's a good dude. He had me on the Batman Book Club a few weeks ago, so check that out if you would like. And so, okay, favorite Batman thing. I feel like we've answered something like this before, but never hurts. We talked about lots of favorite Batman things. So, Brendan?
I don't have just one. I don't. I have
Well,
several.
well, you picked 6 favorite Bat villains, so who gives a shit about rules anymore?
Like, you know, I love my Batman Adventures number 12 from when I was a kid that I've got, you know, slabbed and mounted and everything. I love my Ultimate Batman from Batman Forever that's signed by Kilmer. I love my Ultimate Batman from Batman Returns just because it's friggin' awesome. Yeah, it's a tough one. Like, I think that'd probably be the top 3, but I've got so many cool, like my Batman 89 standee. I just keep looking around this room and I'm like, yep, like there's so many things, but I think I'll leave it at top 4.
Oh, look at you, practicing such restraint.
I am practicing restraint, don't you worry.
Okay, all right. Jamie, what about you?
I mean, because I'll never be able to afford Detective 27 or Batman number 1 or anything of any massive significance like that, I guess I don't even remember the issue number, but the Detective Comics first appearance of Barbara Gordon's Batgirl is one of my prized possessions in my comic collection now. And it's not a pristine condition copy. It's just one that I walked into my local comic book shop one day and they have the little glass display case right as you walk through the door because they love to catch impulsive people like me doing it. And I walked in and there it was. I'm like, what is that? Is that what I think it is? Yes, it is. How much is it? It's this much. I said, put it in the bag.
Oh.
So,
will you tell us how much you paid? I'm very curious.
I believe it was somewhere in the vicinity of like 185.
All right. I respect that purchase. I think
Not an amazing. It's like a 4.0 condition.
Who cares?
It's not
Who
an amazing
cares?
condition book, but it's gone up significantly in value since I bought it. But I don't sell my comics. I just amass them and like I have these my precious. Yes.
Yeah, those are for your kids to sell.
Dude, there's a 2.5 on eBay going for nearly $3,500.
No shit.
You paid 185 American dollars for that.
It might have been over that, but if it was, it wasn't more than a couple $100. It really was.
Man, that is a steal.
I would not pay more than a couple $100 for a comic book because, well, in my old age, I can't because I don't have that kind of free money anymore. Like for my son's first birthday, I bought him a graded, slabbed, white pages, 9.2 copy, CGC certified of Amazing Spider-Man 129. For those who don't know, that is the first appearance of the Punisher. What I paid for that book and what that book is worth now 12 years later is night and freaking day difference. I had my son down here the other day because he'd never touched the book before, and I thought he's old enough now to understand what this is, and I actually let him hold it for a second, and we looked it up, what they were selling for on eBay, and he almost crapped himself.
Wow.
And I told him I was going to sell it and I was going to give him back what I paid for it and keep the rest, and he's like, nope. But anyway, my sentimental favorite is still my grandmother for Christmas that one year got me the uncut sheet of Batman 89 trading cards that I still have rolled up in a poster tube.
Yeah.
You got to frame that.
I do. I swear to God, someday I'm going to get that thing professionally framed and mounted up on the wall.
Yeah. That's so fun. I would love that.
I mean, it's just not something that very many people have, I don't think.
No,
So
it's cool.
And again, it's a sentimental thing because my grandmother, who's obviously no longer with me, is gave me that gift. So I would say those are probably two of my top ones anyway.
Okay.
And
Well,
dude, like my first appearance of Harley's only a 4.0 grade, so like don't feel bad about the Batgirl. Like,
that's a great purchase.
You own a massive piece of Batman history. Like, that's so. I don't think I knew that you had that. That's awesome, and the fact that it only cost that much, like, wow.
Well, here's what'll really
even
bake
transferred
your
to Australian dollars. That's friggin' cheap.
Let me really bake your noodle. I bought that and the first appearance of Mira the same day because they had them both sitting under the glass case.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Big day for you.
Yeah, it was a good day.
All right, nice.
But,
okay.
Andy, you'll appreciate this one. I have a 9.8, almost perfect copy, graded slab CGC, X-Men number, oh God, what number is it? I'm going to kill myself. I can't remember the number now. It's the first appearance of Shadowcat and Emma Frost.
Oh, awesome.
That book,
I thought you were going to say Gambit.
I thought you were going to say Gambit too, 266, but yeah.
Dude, I've got a copy of that. It's not graded in slab, but it looks like it's never been touched by human hands. I promise you this thing comes in no less than a 9.8. I was going to send it to you, but I don't want to let go of it. But anyway, I paid an exorbitant amount of money for that book because I hunted forever to find one, because it drives me nuts when I'm buying graded books. If you ever see when they're graded in the slab, sometimes the bindings are rolled so you can like see the staples on the front of the book.
Mm-hmm.
I can't handle that. I can't. I don't give a damn if it's still a 9.8 grade because they don't apparently deduct for that. I do. I can't take it. It took me over 2 years of scouring eBay to find one that did not have that was in that grade. And I paid triple what the book value of that thing was worth because it was the first one I found like it. And that book is now worth roughly 5 times what I paid for it.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, now you got me in comic hunting mood. Thanks a lot. There goes the rest of my paychecks for the year.
I've had to buy the first appearance of Gambit twice. Because the first time I was storing my comics at a friend's house and that issue happened to disappear. And so we think it was my friend's younger brother, but it was just weird. So then I had to buy it again. But I've never had it graded. I've never had any comic graded. That just seems like a lot of work and I haven't bothered.
I've never actually had any of mine graded. I just got tired of buying comics on eBay and them showing up and not being in the grade I was told that they were in. I figure if I started buying graded and slabbed, I'd cut a lot of that risk out, even if I am paying more money for the book. So that's why I have so many that are graded and slabbed now.
I only did it with Batman Adventures number 12. When I realized it was first appearance of Harley, and I was like, shit, I own a legitimate piece of Batman history here, and I went up to the family home and dug it out. Like, it's the one I had when I was 9 years old, so it's well loved. That's why it's only a 4.0 grade, but you better believe I had that thing graded and slabbed.
Yeah. All right.
What'll kill you with graded comics, and people out there may or may not know the pain if they collect graded and slab comics, the difference in value between a 9.6 and a 9.8 grade is usually double. Figure that one out.
Weird. All right. I feel like I've answered this in the past, but one of my favorite Batman things is my Robin statue from the WB store. Especially because it's the second one. The first one got destroyed, and then my good pals, you, Jamie, and a bunch of the other guys all chipped in and got me a new one. You, Jeff, I think it was Hunter, Roman. I
think this was just before my time as well.
Or you just didn't give a shit. You were like, no,
fuck
Andy, buy your own damn statue.
There was I don't know 6 or 8 of us involved in that deal.
Yeah. So it's my favorite because it's also like the coolest statue of Robin ever, but it's my other favorite because you guys, my friends, made it happen, and I think that's awesome. So that's a big one. I'm picking 3. You know why?
Because it's your show and you can do that.
It's my show. Fuck all y'all. My photograph with Adam West, Burt Ward, Julie Newmar, and Lee Merriweather.
Wow.
Because I got in just under the wire. It was about a year before Adam West passed. And so to get all 4 of them and to be in the photo with them, like it was not cheap, but it was worth it because, again, those photos are no longer possible. So that is a big one too. And then my Batman tattoo. I love my Batman tattoo.
I never even considered that.
I've never regretted it for a second. I love it. One of these days I'll get the matching Robin one on the other arm.
Andy and I met for the first time when we went and saw Man of Steel together at the Navy Pier IMAX in Chicago back in 2013. And the very first thing I made him do was roll up his sleeve and show that to me.
Let's see it.
Okay, so since we're talking about comics and all of these things, did you guys know the CGC, which is the comic grading, the one that grades and slabs the books, they also have a yellow label called a signature series, which is verified, guaranteed that the person on that label signed that book. So you're buying a guaranteed autograph. I mean, it's very hard to fraudulate this. It's in the registry and the whole works. So were you guys aware that I killed Leonard Nimoy and Stan Lee?
No.
Yeah, because I have a Star Trek book. The book itself is worthless, but it's autographed by Shatner and Nimoy. I bought that book. Nimoy was dead in less than a year.
Oh,
and then I have a Spider-Man comic that was from like a fan expo in Canada or something like that. But it's a cover swipe from Amazing Fantasy 15 where Spidey's swinging with the guy under his arm. Well, on this cover, he's swinging with Stan Lee under his arm, and Stan Lee signed that book. I bought that, and Stan Lee was dead like 4 years later.
Oh, well, there you go. It's all your fault.
Oh, I did it. It was me.
Cold. All right, guys. Well, that is it for the Wayne Manor mailbox. We are closing that up. If you've got a message, send that to Holy BatCast at rf4rm.com. But so we're going to wrap up this episode, guys. All right. Nice work. A little bit of everything. So, gents, it's been super fun. Jamie, great to have you back. I was going to say tell everybody where to find you, but they can't find you. You're hiding out under 18 inches of snow in Indiana.
13 and a half, but close enough.
You're wearing your, like, frostbite Batman suit, like the toys have.
Yes, with my ball-warming Manscaped underwear on underneath it.
The end of Batman and Robin.
Exactly, that. But Jamie, good to have you back.
Yes, sir.
All right. Brendan, good to have you back, too. It's nice to get the 3 of us all together.
Yeah, it was fun. So I think New Year was the last time we did this.
Yeah.
It's been a month.
Nice. Well, let's try to make it happen for that countdown of the live-action Bat films.
For sure. And if you want to find me, you probably know where you can, but you can find me on Twitter at Lubby007. And I've got my podcast, The Nightlight, and I just uploaded a new episode of my Olympic podcast, the Sitting on Our Rings podcast, yesterday, which you can find if you just Google Sitting on Our Rings podcast. You'll be able to find it in all the regular places. So we wrapped up the opening ceremony from the Beijing Winter Olympics.
Nice. Still waiting for that long-lost nightlight.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not going to happen, is it?
I'd really like it to.
Oh well, that's fine. Maybe.
Oh, was this the Golden Girls tragedy?
Yeah. We talked for an hour and 45 minutes, and then the the Tasmanian devil who runs on the hamster wheel to keep the power going where Brendan lives died, and the power all went out.
I had a blackout that lasted like 30 seconds, but it was enough to lose the episode because it didn't save. So, yeah, heartbreaking.
Yeah. I'll let you guys in on a secret. I did that because nobody invited me to be on that show.
You know what? I've been watching Golden Palace.
That's not bad, is it?
It's pretty good.
Everyone's told me to stay away from it.
It's pretty good.
Things, and
I'm super bummed it didn't last longer.
I still don't think it's on Disney Plus here.
It's on Hulu here.
Yeah, which we don't have Hulu, and we get some of the Disney Plus for some reason. Is Disney and Hulu, are they does Disney own
Yes,
Hulu?
Disney owns part of it, not the whole thing.
Okay, because
Universal owns part of it too.
The Pam and Tommy series that started, that's on Disney Plus here. Like, that's branded as a Disney Plus show. And people are losing their mind that Disney
weird. Yeah, that's
doing
weird.
This like R-rated thing. It's like, guys, it's a Hulu show. We don't have Hulu here in Australia. Like, that's the only reason why. Like, settle down. It's okay. But yeah, on all my social media and stuff, it's like Pam and Tommy. It's like Disney Plus all over it.
That's weird. Anyway, Golden Palace is pretty darn good. It's kind of like Lost Books of the Bible, because it's like Golden Girls content we didn't even know existed. I mean, we knew, but we hadn't seen. It wasn't available forever.
Sir, I had no idea this show existed until it popped up on my Hulu home screen.
Yeah, it's very
No idea
consistent. I
whatsoever.
like it. Anyway, all right, so that's it. Thank you guys for joining us. Thanks for downloading the show. Please do subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. Visit holybatcast.com or find Holy BatCast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or YouTube. It's just Holy BatCast. If you've got something for the Wayne Manor mailbox, you can send that to holybatcast@rf4rm.com. Just in time for Valentine's Day, go to Manscaped. Go to manscaped.com and use the promo code BATSCAPED for 20% off and free shipping. Please and thank you. A big ol' thank you to Gaurav Venkateswar. He does our theme music. His work can be found at gvtunes.com. So that'll do it. On behalf of Jamie and Brendan, I've been Andy. We'll see you next time. Same bat time, same bat channel. Holy BatCast is not affiliated with Warner Brothers or DC Entertainment. The views and opinions shared by the participants are theirs and theirs alone and do not represent the companies or organizations they happen to work for.
Yeah, if you really want me to bring the room down now, I also killed Margot Kidder.
Why you gotta be killing everybody?
Every time I get an autograph, somebody's dead within a year or two.
So stop buying them.
I did.
Good. And now nobody's
so
died
guilty.
since. I think you bought a Betty White autograph, and this is on you.
Nope, didn't touch that. Don't even put that mess on me, Ricky
No,
Bobby.
yeah, I'm putting that evil on you.